Welcome back, fellow stewards. Today, we are opening a door that the institutional world has kept double-bolted for nearly 2,000 years. We are going to discuss the Great Inversion. If you've ever felt that modern religion feels more like a prison than a sanctuary, if you've ever wondered why faith feels so much like obedience and so little like knowing, then you have already felt the edges of this inversion. You have felt the theft of your spiritual birthright. Today, we aren't just looking at history, we are looking at the crime scene of your own sovereignty. We are going to reveal exactly how the keys to your internal Gnosis were stolen and replaced with the heavy chains of institutional religion. The original blueprint, the keys of Gnosis. To understand the theft, we must first understand what was stolen. In the early centuries, before the cross was used as a political sword, the message of the Nazarene was not about belonging to an organization. It was about Gnosis. The word Gnosis does not mean intellectual data or blind belief. It means direct, experiential knowing. It is the difference between reading a description of a fire and feeling the heat on your skin. Jesus didn't come to build a cathedral, he came to act as a catalyst for your own internal awakening. In the Gnostic texts, like the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, "The kingdom is inside of you and it is outside of you." When you come to know yourselves, then you will become known. These were the original keys to the kingdom. They weren't keys given to a pope or a pastor to lock you out. They were keys given to you to unlock the divine spark within your own heart. This original blueprint was a threat to every archonic power on earth because a man who knows cannot be ruled. A woman who has tasted the source directly cannot be sold a substitute. The mechanism of the theft, from I know to I believe. The Great Inversion began when the witnesses were replaced by administrators. As the Roman Empire realized it could not destroy the movement through blood, it decided to absorb it through structure. This is where the Archonic genius shines. They didn't tell you the light didn't exist, they told you that you weren't holy enough to see it without their help. They took the concept of Gnosis, knowing, and inverted it into pistis, belief. Think about the mechanical difference between those two states. Knowing is sovereign. If you know the sun is hot, no decree from a king can change that reality for you. But belief requires constant reinforcement from an external authority. By shifting the requirement from inner experience to outer confession, the church effectively moved the keys from your pocket to their belt. They became the gatekeepers. They told you that the divine was out there, far away, sitting on a throne, and the only way to reach him was through their rituals, their tithing, and their permission. The mid-roll, reclaiming the frequency. I want to pause here because this realization can be heavy. If you are feeling a sense of recognition, if you are realizing that your entire religious upbringing was designed to keep you from the very thing it claimed to offer, then you are waking up. You are moving from the 92% who are of the world to the unique 99% who are in it but not of it. If this foundational wisdom is striking a chord with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. We are building a digital archive of the truth that the systems tried to burn. Join the stewards, and let's reclaim the keys together. Question: was there a specific moment or a specific rule in your religious past that finally made you realize the system was about control rather than connection? Share your story below, it helps others realize they aren't alone. The Archons' masterpiece, sin as a control loop. The most potent tool of the Great Inversion was the weaponization of sin. In the original Gnostic understanding, sin was seen as a martia, an archery term meaning missing the mark or simply being in a state of ignorance/forgetfulness. The cure for missing the mark was simply to recalibrate, to wake up, and to remember your divine origin. But the inversion turned missing the mark into a permanent stain on your soul that only the institution could wash away. They created a perpetual problem/solution loop. The problem: you were born broken and fallen, original sin. The solution: only we have the blood, the bread, and the grace to fix you. This created a spiritual dependency that mirrors an addiction. By making you fear your own nature, they ensured you would never look inward for the keys. Why would you look inside a wicked and deceitful heart? The inversion was complete. The very place where the Gnosis was hidden, your own consciousness, was labeled the most dangerous place to go. The keys of Peter and the institutional lock. We must look at the famous keys of the kingdom passage in Matthew 16 through a Gnostic lens to see the inversion clearly. The church teaches that Jesus gave Peter the keys to start a physical hierarchy. But the esoteric truth is that Peter represents the spirit of recognition. When Peter said, "You are the Christ," he was recognizing the divine frequency in the man. The keys are the ability to recognize the divine wherever it appears. The Great Inversion took this spiritual ability and turned it into a legalistic deed of property. They claimed that the keys meant they had the power to bind and loose your salvation. They turned a tool of liberation into a tool of litigation. They used the keys to lock the doors of the library of the soul and told you that you could only hear the authorized version of the story through the keyhole of the pulpit. Survival in the inversion. How to take the keys back. For our audience, especially those of you in the US and UK who have seen the church industrial complex grow into a multi-billion-dollar machine, the question is, how do we take the keys back? The beauty of the Great Inversion is that it is a lie, and a lie requires your participation to function. The moment you stop believing you are separate from the source, the Archonic locks simply fall away. Stop seeking permission. You do not need a priest, a pastor, or a prophet to speak to the Father. The line is direct. The veil was rent for a reason. Audit your language. Notice how often religious language tries to make you feel small, unworthy, or like a worm. This is Archonic programming. You are a sovereign spark of the eternal. Start speaking to the source as an heir, not a beggar. Practice inner silence. The institutional church is loud music, shouting, rituals. The Gnosis is found in the still, small voice. Neutrality is the environment where Gnosis grows. Trust your knowing over their belief. If a religious dogma contradicts the love and truth you feel in your core, trust your core. Your internal compass of truth is the original key. The Archons are terrified of this message reaching the masses. Why? Because you have the life experience to see through the hype. You have seen the scandals, the money laundering, and the power trips of the cathedrals. You are the ones most capable of holding the frequency of the Father without needing the training wheels of a denomination. When you reclaim your Gnosis, you become invisible to the system's emotional siphoning. You no longer fear hell because you know the Father's nature. You no longer fear sin because you are focused on alignment. You are no longer a battery for the Great Inversion. You are a sovereign steward of the light. If you are beginning to see how the inversion has shaped your life, you might realize that the most powerful shield you can have is the one we discussed in our last transmission. In that video, Proven How Jesus Used Neutrality to Defeat the Archons, we break down the practical physics of how to walk through this inverted world without letting it hook your energy. If today's video showed you how the keys were stolen, the Master Shield video shows you how to live once you've taken them back. I've put the link to the Master Shield transmission in the description below. Watch it next. It is the tactical manual for the sovereign soul. The kingdom is yours. The Great Inversion is ending. The frequency of 2026 is one of unveiling. The systems that claim to be the sole distributors of God are fracturing because the light is hitting the planet directly now. You don't need to fight the church, you just need to outgrow it. Are you ready to stop being a believer and start being a knower? Are you ready to take your keys back? If so, type I am sovereign in the comments. Let's signal to the Archons that the harvest in this sector is over. Stay centered. Stay neutral. And remember, you are the temple. You are the key. You are the Gnosis.